Okay guys, back with the cold pipe. First of all, clearances. What do we got? Not a whole lot. We can basically do everything we want around here. I mean, top, bottom, inside, outside. It's all very, very open. All I gotta do is get a coolant pipe and two oil feed lines out from there. So really, we're very open. The only real thing is right here. We kind of strap the AC compressor about where it's gonna sit. It's approximate, not perfect. Now, as you notice, there's a huge distance here, and you're probably thinking, why don't you just move it over? Well, there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, this guy is mounted the way he is. He'd run off a pulley that'd be mounted to the front of the alternator. If I want to run this guy off the same belt as everything else, I'd have to move this guy back, and I want to keep my options open to be able to do that. That's first. Second, if this guy is not the best AC compressor to turn into an air compressor, so if he becomes troublesome and doesn't like, keeps having to rebuild him or replace him or whatever, then I could swap to an A6. It's much better designed for this. But it is stupid long, so I need all the clearance I can get for that. That's third. And then third, with all this extra room, it's really nice to be able to take in and out this pipe without having to remove anything up front here. So that's kind of has an added feature. So again, we have basically this is the only clearance problem that we can have. Okay, now we did some thinking on it, did some Google searching under, looked up carburetor hats, kind of got some ideas, and this is what we got. Let me put you on the tripod. This is what we got: 4-inch pipe, 3.5-inch pipe. Now the 3.5-inch pipe we spread out. It's about 3.5 by 2.5. What you got is basically a piece of plate that goes around here like this. This plate, this cardboard represents the plate, and then another piece of plate like this that would sit up on top, and then you'd have a transition here, like a nice rounded transition like here, and then this would probably be flat plate being a transition, so it wouldn't be curved at all. It just, it'd go around here, but it would be straight like this. I don't know. I think that might look okay. I think the reason I didn't like the look of the other stuff is because it looked too much like a radius bend. So it ended up looking like, instead of looking like a sharp bend, it looked like an ugly radius bend. So what I want to make sure is that this thing doesn't try to resemble a radius bend. That's what I was going to mention. If that piece of flat plate right there kind of looks dumb, one thing we could do, play around with, is get some, like a come and see or something like that etched out, and then weld it on there, so it's like a kind of logo looking dude. I think that would be very different for sure, and could look pretty good. I don't know. Okay, this guy's kind of moved around a little bit. It's kind of hard to get this angle, but kind of see what it's looking like approximately. Hopefully, I don't know. I think it might look decent. Another thing I want to do. Let me put this down. What I want to do is I also want to make some kind of a strap deal, because this boot's, being a straight boot like this, he's never really going to blow. So there's only one really way it's going to blow, and that is by pushing this pipe around like that and blowing out like that and separate them. So what I'd like to do is do some kind of a strap system, and that boot design with the flat plate will make it really easy to weld something on there, and it can look somewhat cosmetically pleasing anyway. And that will hold him forward, so this boot will never blow. We'll have the world's most reliable cold pipe, completely overbuilt for such a low horsepower end build. I mean, low boost, low horsepower, because that's what's really going to blow the boots, is the boost. And well, we're not going to make it a whole lot of it. At least that's the plan not to anyway. The plan is not to make it much any. Anywho, I kind of tweaked this all over a little bit, so it's not exactly where it should be, but that's about it right there. This boot's just shy of 3 inches when it should actually be a little over 3 inches. So that's how he sits, like that. This is just a water hose or something just for mock-up. So, yep, so doozers. Thank you guys so much for your input on this. I think we are, it's going to turn out better because of it. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, I probably would have done that second method, and I don't think that would have turned out the way I want it to. So we're gonna make this thing look decent. I want to make this thing look decent, but in the end, function over form. So even if it doesn't turn out to look as awesome as I want it to, it should work really, really well. And that's actually another thing I wanted to mention. The less volume you have on a cold pipe, or any plumbing at all, cold pipe, hot pipe, charge pipe, before and after the intercooler, the less volume you have, the faster it'll spool. So keeping a nice tight cold pipe like this you might actually see performance gains. So Hey, that's something.